manufacturing city, but one of the things that we manufactured were guns, and that was number one. And I guess back in the day, it was important. It was a livelihood for folks, but now we're a thinking city. We're a creative city. We're an innovative city. We're an entrepreneurial city, which it really relies on investing in our young folks because we wrap our services around our young people as early as 3 and 4 and 5, even when they're still in the womb. And we make sure that they come out and they have the resources and they have a community. And all these people in this city we love our young people. We love our young people. Don't you agree?
We do, and our jobs stay here more because they don't pull up and move. But in any case, Patricia Melton, let me just tell people who you are and why you have so much to say about this and why you're responsible for so many young people getting a great start in life and settling roots here. But Patricia runs New Haven Promise. She left New Haven after college and was brought back to get our great scholarship program, which is guaranteed money for 4 years in college in state. And now we're going to talk about how it's not just in state anymore. If you do well in high school or just do fine and show up and do your community service and do okay in your classes, they get you to college. They help you through college. They get you internships and jobs. New Haven Promise is our promise realized for the city. Patricia Melton was brought in a year or two after we started that program. Was that 8 years ago?
Yes, no, it was, I came in 2012. I am going on 11 years.
Boy, it goes fast. And anyway, she just right away just made it a huge success and carried through the promise of promise, and is the person who is really trusted with a lot of money and a lot of work in our city. But Patricia, I'm not going to let you get out here without doing your poem or song.
My poem or song?
Remember, everyone who comes on has to start with a poem or song. You didn't get the memo.
Oh, I didn't, but hold on.
Oh, I'm sorry about that. We ask everyone when they start to do a poem or a song that reflects their mission or is just in their heart before they tell us why we should give them money.
Man. Okay,
you got something you want to pull on?
I'm going to pull it up right quick.
And then I'm going to remind people that listen to the Great Give Radiothon at WNHH-FM. We're partnering with the Community Foundation for Greater New Haven's annual event, where over 400 not-for-profits have a friendly competition to see who can raise the most money over 36 hours, get prizes, matches, and all together make New Haven a better place. I see that already. After an hour, we've raised almost $500,000. Great start.
Wow, that's awesome.
There's that early start where some people can do in advance. 3,000 people have already donated money. It's 413 organizations, and you can be one of those donors. And if you gave, you can give again. And here's how you do it. You're going to have to remember the word "the." You go online, you go to thegreatgive.org, The Great Give, and you can just look up any organization. You can read about 413. You can read about one or two. And in this segment, we're going to ask you to think about New Haven Promise, which I feel so great about urging you to give money to, because I can't think of a smarter way to invest our city, to make sure to give kids an incentive to graduate high school and get that B average and do community service. Then when they go to an in-state school, and we're going to learn more about how it's going beyond in-state now, you're going to get 4 years with plenty of money to get that tuition and books. And you're also going to be part of an organization run by Patricia Melton that keeps track of how you're doing, brings you back for fairs to get internships, helps you get jobs, and wants you to stay in New Haven. Patricia, did you find a poem? I apologize.
Yes, of course.
That I didn't get that straight to you.
I knew exactly. Do I get to read it?
Mm-hmm.
Still I Rise by Maya Angelou. Right. You may write me down in history with your bitter, twisted lies. You may trod me in the very dirt, but still like dust, I'll rise. Does my sassiness upset you? Why are you beset with gloom? 'Cause I walk like I've got oil wells pumping in my living room? Just like moons and like suns with the certainty of ties, just like hope springing high, still, I'll rise. Do you want me to see me broken, bowed head and lowered eyes, shoulders falling down like teardrops weakened by my soulful cries? Does my haughtiness offend you? Don't you take it awful hard, 'cause I laugh like I've got gold mines. Ha, 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 ha. That's a little ad-libbing, digging in my own backyard. You may shoot me with your words. You may cut me with your eyes. You may kill me with your hatefulness, but still, like air, I'll rise. Does my sexiness upset you? Does it come as a surprise that I dance like I've got diamonds at the meeting of my thighs? Out of the huts of history's shame, I rise. Up from a past that's rooted in pain, I rise. I'm a black ocean, leaping and wide, welling and swelling, I bear in the tide. Leaving behind nights of terror and fear, I rise into a daybreak that's wondrously clear. I rise, bringing the gifts that my ancestors gave. I am the dream and the hope of the slave. I rise, I rise, I rise.
Whoa, that's Patricia Melton singing, reciting Maya Angelou's poem "I Rise" to help us talk about New Haven Promise. Our segment right now is we want to have you donate to them. You know what's so interesting for me when you read that poem just now? As with so many of poems and songs, I'm so familiar with the beginning, and it was really interesting to hear the rest as she went through her personal, different aspects of her personality and who she is and all the different parts of who she is and Rise. Why did you pick that poem?
I picked that poem because it really is all of us. It's a universal poem. It really, I don't care who you are, what zip code you live in, whether you're wealthy, poor, in between, a single parent. It's universal. It's every person.
And what you do at New Haven Promise, and you've been doing for 11 years now. Boy, that went fast. How many students a year do you help rise? How many students a year do you get scholarships? What kind of scholarships for in-state colleges, and then help them get internships and succeed?
Well, I like to talk because we're now in full implementation. We're working with students in all throughout K through 12. In college, at any one time, we have roughly around 700 to 750, anywhere from 700 to 800 students. It dropped a little, obviously, during the pandemic. And then we continue to work with our alums once they graduate and when they're in their careers. And we're still working with some who are 28, 29. We have over 1,000 of those students who are back here in New Haven, really living their best lives and jobs all throughout. I believe we have someone working right here at the Independent.
Mm-hmm, you do.
There's
covering
really,
the schools.
Yes. Our scholars are everywhere. They are the city. They're the lifeblood of this city.
Well, I've learned so much watching you, Patricia, because, scholarships great in and of themselves. Everybody got that. When it was announced in 2009, wow, Yale and the Community Foundation, they're putting the money. If you make it through high school, you're going to be able to go to college. But what I came to understand when I saw what you did with the organizations, yes, you did that part, and that's important work. But you made sure they didn't fall behind in college. I mean, you personally got to know so many of the students. You kept in track. You built the infrastructure so we know if they're doing okay. And then the way you would bring me and others to try to support this idea of local employers, then bringing them back. Getting them those internships that, like a lot of privileged kids, just have family connections that get them job opportunities in college that then get them headed toward careers. You've done that for so many people. And what struck me about that, Patricia, is how New Haven Promise under your direction has become trusted. So the funders trust you to give the scholarships. They trust you to come and hire people you're going to bring them who are ready to do the work. Mm-hmm. And then this week I had a fantastic time at Co-op High School. You were there announcing the first cohort of people going to college beyond Connecticut with scholarships to it. Yale said, we were looking at our history, things we've done wrong with race. We're going to try to set it right a little bit, reckon with it at least, and give these annual scholarships to go to historically black colleges and universities outside the state. We'll give you money to do that. And they trusted you to 100% do that process. Find the kids who are young adults now and send them there. Why? How do you feel this fits into Promise's mission? And why is it important to have an HBCU on the table as an option?
Well, like everyone else, I learned that the first possible HBCU could have been here in New Haven. And in fact, it was our scholar, Tobias Cropper, that did a documentary, What Could Have Been.
I didn't know that was one of the scholars.
Yes.
Oh, wow.
Absolutely.
Wow.
And he was on the selection committee for the James W.C. Pennington Scholarship, which funds up to anywhere from 10 to 12 students to attend HBCUs out of the state. So this working group had New Haveners, Yaleys, everyone who was right here in New Haven. And it was really their idea that, we could have had this college here because, let's face it, blacks were not able to attend, black men at that time, were not able to attend Yale. So that was sort of a solution to, at least educate folks even though it was going to be segregated. But as we've learned throughout history, hundreds of years, is that these historical black colleges and universities were places where blacks could, in fact, and others probably, not just black folks, but other people of color, could realize their educational dreams. And these institutions have been a cultural icon to, support individuals, particularly African Americans, but actually other people of color, to realize their educational dreams so that they could go on and live fantastic lives here in the U.S.
It's interesting because you understand this better than anyone in New Haven because you've been in both settings, right? You've been in pretty much all black schools. You've been in elite, mostly white schools. You've seen the benefits in both. And I think, is it fair to say, Patricia, that there's no one size fits all? That the important thing is to give everybody the opportunities to learn and thrive in the setting that's going to work best for them, correct?
Absolutely. I mean, I would just say we're interested in educating students here in the state. There is something unique and different about Historical Black College in terms of what it brings. And for many of these students who have never had black professors, actually some of the most diverse faculties are actually historical black colleges. They're black professors, Asian, Hispanic, white, and that's an experience that our students want to have. Throughout the years, we've tracked, because we use a lot of data, as you know.
Right.
So we've tracked students who have applied to us but want to attend a historical black college. So we had a lot of data to indicate there was a real demand for our students to attend historical black colleges. But what we found is at the end, when it was time to select that college, those colleges were unaffordable. Many of our students are low income, first generation to college. They just could not make it work financially. So the Pennington Scholarship, which is administered by us, but you must be in New Haven, get the New Haven Promise Scholarship, will fund students up to $20,000 a year for 4 years. And in several of the cases, we have negotiated agreements where the colleges bring additional dollars to the table. So it's really quite lucrative. That's anywhere from $80,000 to $100,000 per student, and in most cases even more because those students are getting more.
At your ceremony, you know what struck me, Patricia? Everyone talked about their mom.
Yes, they did.
Everyone talked about how they got through sometimes tough because growing up's tough, no matter who you are. They all got through with their mom's help, and their moms were there, the proudest, posing with them, and that was really a beautiful thing. Patricia, I promised I was going to get you out by 9:30 because you have a meeting. You found time to come as the inaugural pitch person on the New Haven Great Give annual radiothon here in WNHH, where we ask you at this segment to please find some money right now to give the New Haven Promises. They do as important as any work that goes on in New Haven today to help New Haven kids get to college, get that education, chase their dreams, get that job. Patricia, any final? Go to thegreatgive.org, type in New Haven Promise, and let's get that ball rolling. Any final words, final pitches?
Yes, my final word is that Yale does not pay for everything. We still need money. So Yale is very generous and certainly pays for the scholarship, but we do all sorts of supports and wraparound services, and we need to raise that money. So we need money too. So please give. It goes directly to our scholars and supporting them.
All right. Patricia Melton, we got one down, many to go. What a great start to the Great Give Radiothon. WNH, we're going to take a quick break. And we're going to come back with Jackie Downing from the CUNY Foundation to give us the overview of how we're starting out. TheGreatGive.org, folks. You got 400 plus organizations to check out, as many to give in as you want. And we're going to now take a quick break with Phil Brown and the Top Notch Ensemble. See you back in 5 minutes on The Great Give.
Thank you.